All right. Brain buddies gather around. Ever been in class, like, trying to focus, and suddenly,
Everyone's yawning.
yes, you know you shouldn't,
Ugh,
but
you can't help it.
bam, you're yawning too. Today,
We're going deep.
on why yawns are so contagious
And what they tell us.
about our brains.
We often think of yawning as like boredom or sleepiness,
Right.
but it's way more complex than that. We're going to unpack some research
Oh, cool.
from scientists at the University of Nottingham.
Okay.
Get this.
Yeah.
Their work could help us understand and maybe even treat
Whoa.
medical conditions.
Hold on. Yawns can help treat medical conditions.
Just by studying yawns.
Okay. I'm officially intrigued.
Oh, absolutely. They dove deep into this thing called
Okay.
echo phenomena,
Echo phenomena.
which is a fancy way of saying our brains have a built-in,
Copycat button. So that's why I can't stop yawning when someone else does.
especially when it comes to yawns.
Oh, wow.
You got it. Picture this.
Okay.
You see someone yawn and your brain's motor cortex
The part that controls movement.
is like, whoa, got to do that too.
Wow.
It's an automatic reflex,
Finally.
like your brain short-circuiting
What?
and making you mirror the action without even thinking about it.
Wait, so my brain is making me a yawn zombie without my permission. That's both hilarious and kind of creepy.
It's like your brain has a mind of its own sometimes, but this brain glitch can actually give us clues about conditions like
Really?
Tourette syndrome and epilepsy,
Whoa, are you telling me that yawning and those conditions are somehow connected?
where people experience involuntary movements or
Yeah.
sounds.
Yeah.
Exactly. It all boils down to how excitable your motor cortex is.
Right.
Too much excitability. And you get those involuntary actions like tics and Tourette's or seizures in epilepsy.
Wow.
Researchers are using this knowledge to explore treatments like
Okay.
transcranial magnetic stimulation,
Transcranial magnetic stimulation.
which is basically using magnets to rewire the brain and
Yeah.
try to control that excitability.
Rewiring brains with magnets. Okay, that sounds straight up sci-fi, but also super cool.
It is pretty wild. Imagine a
It's nice.
tiny magnetic wand gently nudging specific parts of your brain to turn the volume up or down on those overactive brain signals.
Mind officially blown. So back to yawning.
Yeah.
How did the scientists study this copycat reflex?
Well, first of all,
Yeah.
they gotta watch people yawn all day.
Talk about a dream job.
Then they use that magnetic stimulation we talked about to actually try to make people yawn more.
They were triggering yawns with magnets.
Hmm.
Because science is officially weirder than fiction.
What did they learn from all this?
Yeah, what did they learn?
One of the most surprising findings was that trying to resist a yawn actually makes you more likely to do it.
You know that feeling when you're in a meeting trying so hard not to yawn?
Exactly.
And it just makes you want to yawn even more.
Yeah.
Ugh, tell me about it. It's like my mouth has a mind of its own. So what does all this yawn science mean for us non-scientists?
It means yawns are way more complex than we give them credit for. This seemingly simple action gives us a glimpse into the amazing
Right.
and sometimes wacky world of our brains, especially when it comes to things like motor control and conditions like Tourette's.
Okay, so yawns not just for sleepyheads anymore. They're little windows into our incredible brains. But wait, I thought yawning was also linked to empathy.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
For a long time, people thought contagious yawning was a sign of empathy.
Right.
Like you yawn because you're connecting with someone else's feelings.
Yeah, I've totally heard that.
Yeah.
Like you yawn because you feel sleepy or bored along with the other person.
But this research suggests that it might be more about those brain reflexes than actually feeling what the other person is feeling.
Right.
Right.
So maybe yawning together isn't as heartwarming as we thought, but still super interesting.
It definitely adds another layer of mystery to this whole yawning phenomenon.
It still blows my mind that you can use magnets to mess with the brain.
Yeah.
It's like something straight out of a superhero comic book.
Yeah.
So how does this transcranial magnetic stimulation thing actually work?
It's pretty amazing. Imagine holding a super-powered magnet over certain spots on your brain.
Okay.
This magnet creates an invisible force field, a magnetic field that can either stimulate or chill out brain activity.
So it's like giving your brain a little magnetic high five or a magnetic timeout.
In those targeted areas, exactly. And by adjusting the strength and frequency
Okay.
of those magnetic pulses,
Right.
researchers can fine-tune the excitability of the motor cortex.
So it's like turning the volume up or down on those brain signals.
So that's the area responsible for all those involuntary movements?
That's incredible. But is it safe?
Yeah.
We don't want to accidentally turn anyone into a supervillain with uncontrollable yawns.
That's a great question. Safety is super important in any kind of brain research.
Right.
The good news is that transcranial magnetic stimulation,
Okay.
or TMS,
Oh.
is generally considered safe when done by trained professionals.
Okay, phew. So no accidental superpowers from these magnets. What a relief.
Not that we know of. But seriously, TMS has shown some really promising results in treating a range of neurological and psychiatric conditions,
Oh, wow.
not just those related to movement.
Really? Like what? Give us the deets.
Well, for example, it's being used to treat depression,
Oh, wow.
anxiety,
Okay.
and even chronic pain. It's still a relatively new technology, but the results are looking pretty good.
Wow, that's amazing. Sounds like TMS has a bright future.
Mhm.
But getting back to yawning, how are scientists using it to understand those contagious yawns?
Remember how we talked about how trying to resist a yawn can actually backfire
Yes.
and make you yawn even more? Well, researchers use TMS to crank up the excitability of the motor cortex in their study participants. And guess what? They yawned more.
So they basically proved that the more excitable your motor cortex,
Mhm.
the more likely you are to catch a case of the yawns.
You got it. It's like throwing gasoline on a yawn fire.
This is all so fascinating. But I gotta ask,
Yeah.
why are we so obsessed with yawning anyway? It seems like a pretty ordinary thing we do every day.
You're right. Yawning seems super ordinary.
Right.
But when you think about it, it's this universal involuntary thing that all humans and even some animals do.
Right.
It crosses cultures, languages, everything, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
still don't totally understand it.
True. And now we're finding out that yawns could hold the key to understanding and treating some serious medical conditions. Who knew yawns were so powerful?
Here's another mind-blowing tidbit. Remember that connection between yawning and empathy?
Yes.
Well, some scientists believe that contagious yawning might actually be a form of social bonding.
Seriously. So like yawning together brings us closer.
The idea is that by unconsciously mirroring each other's yawns,
Okay.
we're sending a signal that we're on the same wavelength that we get each other.
It's like a secret brain handshake. Yawning is way cooler than I ever realized.
It's a pretty cool theory, right?
Yeah.
Of course, we need more research to confirm it.
Yeah.
But it definitely adds another layer of intrigue to this whole yawning puzzle.
We're going to need a whole separate episode just on the social lives of yawns. But for now, back to the science. Where does all this research leave us in terms of understanding conditions like Tourette's and epilepsy?
Well, the fact that we can manipulate yawning using TMS gives us hope that we might be able to use similar techniques to control those involuntary movements in those conditions.
So if scientists can make someone yawn more by fiddling with their brain using magnets, maybe they can also use magnets to reduce those tics or seizures.
That's the hope. And it's not just about using TMS. This research is also shedding light on what's happening in the brain at a cellular level
Right.
to cause those involuntary actions.
So it's not just about treating the symptoms, it's about understanding the root of the problem.
Exactly.
Makes sense. This whole deep dive into the world of yawning has been way more mind-blowing than I ever expected.
It just goes to show that even the most ordinary things can reveal extraordinary secrets about our brains.
I'm ready for more brain-bending revelations.
Yeah.
What else have you got for us?
Well, we've talked about using magnets to control yawns and possibly even treat some pretty serious conditions, but
Yeah.
here's the really big question.
Okay.
If scientists can tweak brain activity like that,
Yeah.
what other possibilities might open up? Could we use similar techniques to enhance learning or creativity?
Whoa, hold on. You're saying we could potentially boost brain power with magnets.
Yeah, that's some mind-blowing stuff.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
But seriously, what kind of possibilities are we talking about here? Could I finally ace those organic chemistry tests? Or write a symphony?
Well, it's not quite that simple,
Okay.
but some studies have shown that TMS can improve memory, attention, and even problem-solving skills.
No way.
Researchers are also exploring its potential for boosting creativity and maybe even treating learning disorders.
Okay, so maybe not instant genius status,
Right.
but still pretty incredible.
Yeah.
But, and I hate to be a buzzkill,
Mm-hmm.
aren't there some ethical considerations when it comes to messing with brain function?
Oh, absolutely.
Don't want to create a society of super yawners or worse, you know?
You're absolutely right. Anytime we're talking about manipulating the brain, we have to be super careful and responsible.
Right.
We need to think about the potential risks and benefits and make sure these technologies are used ethically and for the right reasons.
Yeah.
We definitely don't want to end up in some sci-fi dystopia where everyone's brain is controlled by magnets.
Totally agree. Brain power is awesome, but freedom and individuality are even better.
Exactly.
But on a more positive note, it sounds like this research could have a huge positive impact on people's lives.
Absolutely. The potential for TMS and other brain stimulation technologies is really groundbreaking. It's such an exciting time to be studying the brain, and I can't wait to see what discoveries are made next.
Me too. It feels like we're just beginning to unlock some incredible secrets about how our brains work, and those yawns,
Right.
as weird and contagious as they
Yeah,
are giving us some valuable clues.
absolutely.
So next time you catch yourself yawning, remember, it's not just your brain being lazy. It's a tiny glimpse into the amazing complex world inside your head.
Well said. And who knows, maybe someday we'll be able to harness the power of yawns to unlock our full cognitive potential.
That's an awesome thought to leave us with. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the science of those contagious little brain hiccups. We'll leave you with this question to ponder. If you could control your brain activity, what would you choose to enhance? Your memory, your focus, your creativity? Let us know. And until next time, keep exploring the amazing world inside your head.